The following program contains graphic descriptions of courage. If you are addicted to mediocrity, or if your spine is made of jello, this show might not be right for you. Check with your chiropractor.
Proclaiming the truth in the highways and byways of the world. Fighting for justice in the dark alleys of politics. Raising the voice of resistance to a fevered pitch. The host who has no equal. He uses sweet and low. Randall Terry.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's the mark of genius, baby. Oh, so close. Thank you for being with me. Thank you. You're very kind. We have got a great show for you today. I love you. But I love you as well. And I love you. I'm full of love. It's going to be a great show. I don't even know what to do. I don't even know what to say. I just got to keep talking because that's what they pay me for. Big news. The oil spill is plugged. Yeah, baby. We'll talk more about that. Joe Sestak, he's coming unplugged. Somebody's going down in the Obama administration. And an excommunication from a Catholic bishop of a Catholic nun for her support in the killing of a child. Also, really cool new ads on buses in New York City reaching out evangelistically to Muslims. Are you afraid of being killed? Call us. Today's program brought to you in part by British Petroleum, finally giving the little guy some of the oil money, and by Sestak for Senate. As long as Sestak is in the race, he hurts Obama. Run, Joey, run. I'm going to take a moment to just get my wits about me and give you a chance to listen to my good friend, Joey the Hammer.
Some of my fellow inmates have created a gambling pool. They're taking bets over which person or persons are going to do time here with us over the Joe Sestak bribery scandal. I said to him, guys, I'm not in on this one with you. Here's why. Nobody's going to jail over this one. When you're that high up in the government and you commit the crime, you get to walk away without the time. That's why my father told me, if you're gonna be a wise guy, go into the government. It's the ultimate in organized crime.
Welcome to the program, friend. Hope that you've been having a good week. We have a lot of content in today's program, so what I want you to do is be ADD. Try and do 7 other things on your computer or watch 4 other programs at the same time. Joking. All right. To the news. Sometimes I crack me up. The oil spill is temporarily plugged. There you have it. It's not a done deal that it's going to stick, but for right now, it's plugged. British Petroleum, deep trouble. They are going to pay what will probably be the largest class action settlement in the history of litigation against one company. I don't know how they're going to make it. Their stock's going to go through the floor. We'll see what happens. But I want to address the president for a minute. Mr. President, you've said no more drilling. Did you know that, folks? He said no more drilling for 6 months, a moratorium on new drills. This is the information that we have. This is a knee-jerk reaction, but it's going to put a lot of Americans out of business, and it ensures that we have to go to the Arabs and to Islamic nations, some of whom are funding terrorists, to get our oil. If you want to not drill in the Gulf of Mexico, then drill in ANWR, the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge. Ready? Here's our new chant. Kill a polar bear, save a village.
Oh, that's not funny. No, even Winston's not laughing. Look at him. He's got a really straight face there. Huh?
Listen, it's a 2,200 acre patch of dirt, ice, sand that they need to deal with up there. Do some research on your own, all right? We could be drilling in ANWR and not be slaves to Islamic oil. Wait, I feel a song coming on. Muslim oil, we must purchase Muslim oil, Muslim oil. And we can now fund Hezbollah, Muslim oil. Hamas, yes, it needs your money too. I'm sick of us using American money to pay for American victims of terrorism. It's criminal. We've got all that oil sitting up there in Anwar. Obama should be ashamed. Just wait till I'm president, baby. We're going to be drilling in Anwar, trust me. All right. I want to thank Joe Sestak for staying in the race. And I want to thank him for providing all of the entertainment that he has to so many of us and for miring the Obama administration down in scandal. State Rep Josh Shapiro in Pennsylvania, a Democrat, said that what the Democrats are doing are, quote, not helpful to our efforts to unify the party against Pat Toomey. This is not going to go away. But the beauty of it is that the scandal doesn't just sit there in Pennsylvania. It becomes fodder for shows like this. People who need fodder, who thrive on fodder, who don't want the time spent on real content. They just do bumper sticker politicking, demagoguery. It feels so Obama-esque. Moving along. Oh, I love this story. Islam in New York City. This is great. Fatwa on your head? Is your community or family threatening you? Leaving Islam. There's some people there who've got guts and brains who are running ads on the sides of buses telling Muslims that they will help them to get out of Islam and if they're afraid of their family to come and help them. I love this stuff. Here's what one of the guys in the group said, quote, it's time for Americans to stand up against the evil of Islamic jihadi terrorism and Islamic supremacism. Another guy speaking at a Tea Party last week said, quote, that CARE, the Council on American Islamic Relations, CARE is, quote, an unindicted co-conspirator Muslim brotherhood from Hamistad, close quote. It's so refreshing to me. I actually feel like I'm going to get emotional. Oh, to see this kind of religious intolerance, this xenophobia, this utter rejection of Islam. It kind of warms my heart. And the issue is, as you're going to see later in the show, all kidding aside, is if you think Islam is a peaceful religion, take them by the fistful. The problem is this. Most people in America are predisposed to give the benefit of the doubt, as we all should. And I can attest, my observation, most Muslims are decent, peaceful people. They don't even know their own religion. I'm going to talk later on in today's episode about some of historic Islam. But, for example, did you know that Muhammad cut the heads off of hostages with his own hand? Muhammad himself decapitated hostages with his sword. Did you know that? Jesus died to start Christianity. Muhammad killed to start Islam. Most Muslims don't even know that about Muhammad. All right, let's move on to one quick other item, very intense item. There was recently a nun excommunicated by Bishop Thomas Olmsted. Sister Margaret is automatically excommunicated, Bishop Olmsted said, because she okayed a woman having her baby killed when the woman had a disease that might have caused her to die. It was not a for sure thing that her life was going to end, such as a tubal pregnancy. The tubal pregnancy, you have to remove the child and the fallopian tube because the baby and the mother are going to die, period. With this blood disorder, it was not 100% certain that the woman was going to die, and Sister Margaret said, hey, it's okay if you kill the baby. And Bishop Olmsted said, you're excommunicated. Now, the New York Times and other people are jumping on him like he's some kind of religious tyrant. No, he had the guts, he had the courage to uphold the teachings of the Catholic Church. Why aren't other Catholic bishops this courageous? Why does Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden still receive Holy Communion when their hands are drenched with the blood of babies? My hat's off to you, Bishop Olmsted. God bless you. I'll be right back, folks.
Randall and I made a trip to Mars as part of a secret project. Okay, I lied. It was actually to the moon with Neil Armstrong.
moments with Moses. You shall eat the flesh of your sons, and you shall eat the flesh of your daughters, and I will destroy your high places, and cut down your incense altars, and cast your dead bodies upon the dead bodies of your idols, and my soul shall abhor you.
Welcome back to the program, friend. We want to welcome our new viewers in Beaumont, Texas, Albuquerque, New Mexico, and Branson, Missouri, the singing village. I hope to come out there and sing some of these numbers. I've got a song coming up for you. And by the way, we just crossed our millionth minute of viewing on cpnlive.com. cpnlive.com, a lot of people watching, and we're getting some really good feedback. It's a delight to have you. Tell your friends about the show. Now, to a song. Do you know your amendments? Friend, we do it right because we do it twice. The 14th Amendment is so we can kill babies. The First Amendment is for gay marriage, and the Second Amendment is freedom from religion. What a great Bill of Rights we have. The Third Amendment gives us free health care. The Fourth Amendment bails out the banks. The Fifth Amendment gives the FBI power. What a great Bill of Rights we have. Do you know your amendments? Do you know what makes this country great? George Washington, Tommy Jefferson, they fought so we could all be slaves. The Sixth Amendment is the right to a new house. The Seventh Amendment is cash for clunkers. And the Eighth Amendment is the dollar for the euro. What a great Bill of Rights we have. The Ninth Amendment is the right to free college. The 10th Amendment tells the states, shut up, sit down. The 11th Amendment guarantees diversity. A great Bill of Rights we have. Do you know your amendments? Do you know what makes this country great? George Washington, Tommy Jefferson, they fought so we could all be slaves. The 12th Amendment is tolerance for Islam. The 13th Amendment is for bad luck. And the 14th Amendment is so we can kill babies. What a great Bill of Rights we have. I love this country. Thank you. You're very kind. All kidding aside, here is your call to battle. Call up your 2 U.S. senators, 202-224-3121, and tell them to vote no to repealing the Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy for our military. It's first of all a matter of ethics. We don't want to pretend that the homosexual lifestyle is something that's normal or should be applauded. But more importantly, for this point, it will destroy unit cohesion and it puts us all at risk. Call your senator and say no, no, no.
We have got to name names in this battle. That is the history, that is the theology of the church. And if the IRS says, no, you can't name a name, you have to decide at that minute, who is the Lord of your tongue? Who is the Lord of your pen? Who is the Lord of the gospel? Is it Jesus or the IRS?
If we are together, nothing is impossible. If we are divided, all will fail. Sir Winston Churchill. Welcome back to the program, friend. It is really intellectually unfair to say that you affirm or deny something if you don't know what the thing is. And so we're going to use this program to help you learn Islam. Orthodox, historic Islam. Why? Well, if we're going to say we reject this, well, we have to know what we're rejecting. When people say Islam is a peaceful religion, they're not really exactly right. Or people who say all Muslims are bad people, they're not right. We don't want to be simply xenophobic, afraid of things that are different. We want to have a dispassionate look at Islam and come up with conclusions that are based upon what Islam says about itself. So let's pick up where we left off yesterday. Quick review. The word Islam has its roots in words that mean peace, surrender. For someone to become a Muslim, all they have to do is profess the Shahada, the profession of faith, which is there is no God but God, and Muhammad is his prophet. What a Muslim believes is that Muhammad was the seal of the prophets, the last prophet, following in the line of Moses and Noah and King David and Christ. But they believe that Muhammad came to correct the errors of time. So he says, I believe that there's no God but Allah and that Muhammad is his prophet. That makes him a Muslim if he says that profession in the presence of another Muslim, a witness. Now, there are 5 basic pillars to Islam. Ready? They are the profession of faith, which we just said, the Shahada, the prayers, okay, 5 times a day, fasting during Ramadan, that's number 3. Number 4 is almsgiving. And number 5 is the Hajj, the pilgrimage to Mecca, if it is economically feasible. Those are the 5 pillars of Islam. Now, as we shall see, Islam states of itself that it's not merely a theological path and belief system that an individual accepts and then follows to obtain heaven. It is that, but it's far more. Islam boldly declares that it is the rightful heir to the social and political rule of the whole earth. Inherent in the message of Muhammad and the mission of his followers is the call to subjugate the nations of the entire world to Islamic law. In other words, each nation would find peace, Islam, surrender, as it surrenders and submits to the dictates of Islam. Hence, historic or orthodox or fundamentalist Islam draws little distinction between personal faith and national and political duty. So this is where we're going to leave off today. You have to understand that in the Islamic mind, in Islamic scholars, there is no separation of personal faith with Islamic law bearing in on all of society. It's called the Sharia law. We'll be studying more about it. I'll be right back.
Let them be put to shame and confusion altogether who rejoice at my calamity. Let them be clothed with shame and dishonor who magnify themselves against me. Amen.
Hi, friend, I'm Randall Terry. George Washington said, "It is impossible to rightly govern a nation without God and the Bible." Now, as we compare Christianity and Christian law with Islam and Islamic law or Sharia law, we're going to see some very stark differences. But the thing that is really critical to see here is that George Washington had a theocentric, a God-centered premise about governing. In other words, what's the philosophical underpinnings for don't murder, don't steal? Because in some cultures, what would be a crime with a Christian, a Judeo-Christian framework, is not a crime. So we have to not fear bringing up God and the Bible because a tree is known by its fruit. Wisdom is justified by her children. Look at the history of what we used to call Christendom or Christian civilization, and you see the steady growth of freedom and human rights and the protection of people's lives, their liberties, and their properties. We will then compare what we see in Christian nations with Islamic nations that are following Sharia law. Somebody's will has to prevail. Is it going to be God and the Bible? Is it going to be Muhammad and Islamic law? Is it going to be Karl Marx and Marxism? Somebody's philosophy of right and wrong is going to prevail. I'm going to go with George Washington, who said it's impossible to rightly govern a nation without God and the Bible. See you again.